Synthaholics. It's the Record Apple Podcast.
Welcome to Synthaholics. We've got a full house tonight. As always, I'm David Duncan, your host. Another host,
Aaron O'Brien.
We also have Guy Davis in the house with us.
Hello.
And, most especially, we've got Michele Specht from Star Trek Continues. Woo! Yeah!
That's right. Star Trek Continues. Woo!
May it continue forever.
Yes, I hope so too.
How I wish. In my brain, it will. In my happy place, it will go on forever.
She's just playing out all.
Remembered as Dr. McKenna, and it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome.
Yes, I know. I know it will. I can't wait for you guys to see these last 3 episodes. You guys are going to lose your freaking minds. I'm losing my mind, and I'm in them.
Wow.
So if you guys see what happens, I'm seriously, and I am not good with secrets. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am not good with secrets. So I literally have to, zip my lip on a daily basis.
Staples!
Everything. I'm going to blab it. I just want to blab it.
Well, all the staples.
Really
bleeping out parts of this podcast.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to be really good because I'm just going to want to spill all my guts everywhere, all over my computer.
Oh my God.
Everything.
Well,
everything. But I have to be good. I have to be good.
Well, the last one, Still Treads the Shadow, is such a fantastic play off Tholian Web. It just...
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like,
did you like it? You liked it?
It was absolutely wonderful.
I loved it. I mean, I really loved it. So it was so cool.
And you saw who wrote it, right?
I'm sorry, say again?
Did you see who wrote that? Still Treads the Shadow, our 8th episode?
Was it Judy Brown?
Burns. Judy Burns wrote the original series episode, The Tholian Web.
I had no idea.
That's awesome.
I know! Isn't that insane? She wrote the original TOS episode, and she wrote our follow-up episode, Still Treads the Shadow, for Star Trek Continues.
She just wanted to give Vic Mignogna, the biggest workout ever. He's the computer, he's himself, and then he's old himself.
I know. Well, you saw the blooper reel, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
How many of us are there? And sweet Kipley Brown's like, not enough.
Kipley Brown is awesome.
Oh,
we had her on.
Amazing.
We had her on
a
year ago.
Oh, you did? Isn't she fabulous? Here's another cool tidbit. Kipley wrote our next episode that's premiering next month.
I saw that was going to be the case. I'm looking forward to that.
And honestly,
I think awesome.
Yeah, it might be my favorite episode. It just might end up being my favorite. This
that's
one
awesome.
That's coming out next month. With John Delancey guest starring.
Oh, I mean, with John Delancey, it's hard to go wrong.
I saw that one too. I was like, they got John Delancey. This is going to be amazing.
Oh, it's so amazing. He was so blown away when he came down to our sets. He really was. I don't know. I don't think he knew what to expect at all. And then he walked on there and he saw. Our set runs. It is like a professional set now. We are humming. We are cooking.
Yeah.
And he was really blown away by the sets, by the crew, by everything.
Oh man.
Yeah. He was really like, holy shit.
Yeah. The crime of it is that you guys have the 3 more episodes, and
just 3 more episodes, and
I know it hurts. Believe me, it hurts. It hurts me. I have a constant tummy ache.
Yeah.
Because of. I'll be very, very honest with you.
But I can't wait to see how they're going to unfold. And you have dates for the next 3 times that they're already announced for 3 different Comic-Cons, right?
Yep, we sure do. So the next one, this upcoming one, starring John Delancey and Anne Lockhart, which is amazing. If you're a big Battlestar Galactica fan, she's outstanding. And Elizabeth Maxwell, if you're a big anime fan, you'll know her. Like anybody who listens to anime or Ruby or whatever loves Elizabeth. She's another guest star in it. That'll be at Supercon, July 27th, I believe, in Florida. Awesome. And then episode 10 will be at Salt Lake City Comic-Con in October. Is it September? October. And then the final episode 11 will be at freaking New York Comic-Con.
That's awesome.
That's very awesome.
It's huge. It's
Y'all
big time.
are rolling those up pretty quick, it seems like.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was kind of like the arrangement. We wanted to really honor the kind of the fact that CBS is coming out with Star Trek Discovery, everything that came down around that lawsuit. We just really wanted to, we were going to finish them out. We weren't going to do any more fundraising. We were going to do as many as we could with the amount we had raised when that lawsuit came down. Mm-hmm. And we just wanted to finish them and get them out as quickly as possible. So that's what we're doing. That's
so awesome. It's so wonderful. Everything you've done so far, the whole crew is just such a testament to how much you guys love the product and the intellectual property of it.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. It's just a huge, big love letter to the original series of Star Trek. There's no other way to describe it. Yeah, and everybody, it's like a freaking family. I've never been involved in anything like it, and probably never will be. It's kind of a once in a lifetime sort of thing. So,
it totally shows.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It totally shows too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it does.
We love each other very, very much, and it will be. It's going to be a really beautiful and a really sad next few months as we kind of wrap up this show. It's been 4 years, and wow. Actually, we started 5 years ago, in the planning stages and building the sets. Vic was going down and building those sets, so we had our own 5-year mission.
Right.
The show.
That's awesome.
It's kind of fitting, I suppose, that we're coming to an end now.
So do you? I don't know if this is. I'm kind of curious. Do we know what's going to happen with the sets now that we're done? Is there a future for them?
We don't. We don't really know what's going to happen. We will keep you updated, but we're trying to figure that out now.
Okay.
We really, really, really don't want them to be destroyed.
Just torn up, right?
No, which is what they
just
did.
got engineering. Don't get rid of it.
Yeah. But also, we're just paying $5,000 a month on this,
space.
On the space just sitting there. So I don't know what is going to happen. We're trying to figure that out, and we're trying to figure out some way in which they can remain intact. And that's kind of what we're in the process of doing. So if anybody who's listening has any brilliant ideas, or a really humongous space that they want to become a sci-fi museum,
right?
Let us know. Right,
like Ticonderoga or maybe Starbase Studios in Oklahoma, maybe. I don't know.
I think they've got their own thing going. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I wonder if people would just auction it off and people would buy certain sets. I can't imagine there wouldn't be some rich billionaire that would be like, yeah, I want that.
But we don't want it to be like a shuttlecraft sitting on the Galileo sitting on people's lawns for decades and going into disrepair.
Yeah, they got the bridge sitting on someone's lawn.
Yeah, we did an entire podcast on the Galileo, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's a pretty amazing story, isn't it?
It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Adam found that and completely reconstructed it, basically almost from scratch. And now it's we shot on the real life Galileo that is in the Houston.
On the Intrepid.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's in the space museum there in Houston. They let us come in. They closed early one day. We put up green screen. So in our third episode, which is the follow up to the original series episode in the Mirror universe.
Right.
Mirror, isn't it? Yeah, Mirror.
Mirror,
we shot on the actual Galileo.
That is awesome. I was wondering, I was wondering if y'all build a whole Galileo, because that looks like
when you see that, you can see pictures of that on our website. When you see that is the real original Galileo at Space Center Houston, and they love our show. They were huge fans, and they even said, "Can some of our people get in uniform and be in it?" And we're like, "Yeah,
man,
yeah, sure."
Throw them in the background, yeah. Make them run down corridors, climb up yellow ladders, yeah.
Yeah, they closed the museum. We put green screen all around it and shot on the original thing. Yep, original Galileo.
So wonderful.
That is such awesome news.
But did it have that? Michelle, did it have that new car smell?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
You lie.
24th century new car smell.
It's hanging in the cockpit.
Yeah,
with
and
dice.
it's minty fresh.
Yeah,
Yes.
they got the
dice.
evergreen thing, the smelling car smell. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Metal dice or fuzzy dice?
I did think the mud flaps were a little much, but they can do what they want with it. Truly, it's up to them.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
those scientists at NASA, they have kind of weird, eclectic tastes. What can we say?
They do. They are a smart but weird bunch.
Yeah.
That's safe to say. Yes.
Oh man.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember, but we had Michelle on like a year and 3 months ago.
Wow, he counted the dates.
Well, it's just because the last message we sent through Skype was actually the last day that we spoke. So I actually saw that as a year and 3 months ago.
Actually, Michelle, he's got a whole calendar with your face on it, and it's all marked off.
Well, things, fantasies,
disturbing.
She's like, I gotta go.
We just really love you, but it's been a year and 3 months. However you think I calculated it, just enjoy. But when we had her on last, we asked her what her favorite episode was. And we were like, Michelle, would you like to come back and tolerate talking with us a little bit longer and to talk about your favorite episode? And what episode was that, Michelle?
Oh, it's season 3, episode 16, The Offspring of Next Generation.
Wow. Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. Offspring. Let's talk Offspring.
Yes. So
I'll let Aaron go ahead and do his normal thing, and then we can interrupt as we see fit.
right, so this is The Offspring. This is Next Generation, as Michelle said, Season 3, Episode 16. First aired March 12th, 1990. So we get the beginning scene where Wesley, Geordi, and Troy are going through the hallway, and they're going to Data's lab. I guess Data's been constructing something secretly inside his lab, and
It's a bomb!
and what's his name? Crusher, Wesley, keeps on trying to sneak into it, apparently, but the door's continually locked.
As mischievous little boys do.
Yes. What's in there?
Oh, Wesley.
This is like Wesley's childhood, right?
Yes.
Trying to outthink Data by out combination locking stuff.
Right.
That's what his whole childhood was. I was just trying to get into his porn stash and I couldn't find it.
Yeah. Like going into your uncle's.
The most non-erotic porn ever. Data porn?
Oh yeah.
Autoerotica.
It'd be like Bender. It would be like big computers with like really big screens.
It'd be just algorithms.
Just be a crap load of code.
Yeah. Just be. He'd be like, oh my god.
Unzip that file for me, baby. Unzip that file.
Oh my god. So, moving on. So they Data lets him in, and he presents them a android that he just put together named Lal, and he says, "This is my child," and Data would be Lal's father.
Right.
Next scene, we have Data is explaining how he has used his positronic brain to create Lal. And during the cybernetic conference that he got some information that he was recently attended, and it helped him start building this android.
Right. By the way, do you know who did the makeup for Lal in his first form?
No.
Was it Michael
Doug
Lesnar?
Drexler.
Oh, Drexler.
Doug Drexler.
Doug,
Sorry.
I had to put makeup on John Delancey's butt, Drexler.
Ugh.
There you go.
That was his first job on the show. Was John Delancey's butt.
Really?
Lucky him. I mean, it's John Delancey.
Yeah,
Well.
but I don't know. I don't know if Doug would go for that as well.
Well, I heard at a con that someone drank John Delancey's sick water
Ugh.
Yeah, sick water. That's right.
to get the Q virus.
Well, as Data shows everyone there, we have Captain Picard looking over Lal, and Captain Picard is upset with Data for not consulting with him about this creation of Lal and this new life. Data kind of objects, saying that nobody else seems to consult with you with their procreation.
The Olsens just had twins. You didn't talk to them.
The Olsens did just have twins. They're
This
the
is
Olsen
also-
twins.
Yeah, the ultimate double facepalm. If you wonder where the picture of Picard's double facepalm comes from, it's from
Yep.
this episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's and actually the whole thing reminded me of a father talking to his son. He's like,
Yep.
The birds and the bees, Data. The birds and the bees. You can't do it.
yeah.
But you can't argue with Data's logic in those.
No, you can't.
In the
It's
first
true.
few conversations that they have when they're kind of arguing about what constitutes a child.
Oh
Right.
yeah, it's actually a great scene, but I think I agree with Aaron on this one. It was very much like, well, you can't have a kid because you're 14 and you're still in school. It's very much that kind of thing.
But I love him, Pa. I love him. Oh, well, anyways, besides teenage love, so we have Picard kind of does agree that, yes, that this Data's got the right sentiment here, but I think what Picard's more worried about is what Starfleet's going to do, which Picard is pretty much right. From there, next thing we have Troy walking with Data and Lal down the corridor, and Lal has to choose its own sex and appearance. First, Lal decides it's going to takes Troy's appearance, and Data says, no, that would be confusing. So,
Give Marina Sirtis some work. Make her do two parts.
two
Yes.
parts. Yes, exactly.
I mean, Brett Spiner does it all the time. Why can't Marina Sirtis do it,
yeah,
right?
get to work. Anyways, so as they go down the corridor, they go to the holodeck, and they go through a wide variety of different forms.
It's the only time we see an Andorian in all of Next Generation.
I know.
far as I'm aware
I know.
of.
Kind of
Well,
wild.
I do love that. He's like, no, you're going to choose between the thousands of pre-fabricated selections I've made. And Troy's like, thousands?
Thousands.
And he's like, yeah, this is a very important decision. She's like,
And-
motherfucker.
How are the Andorians gone extinct at this point? Like, why is there no? This is a crew of 1,000 people. How is there not one Andorian on the entire Enterprise?
You just want to see an Andorian.
What's wrong with that?
I love Andorians.
I like
agree.
Andorian,
Well, there's
but
at least two Vulcans,
Yeah.
Dr.
right?
Solar,
We have Dr. Solar, and we have
the
what
twin
is-
from the guy
not
from
Turok,
Voyager.
but the other guy who is like similar to. Anyway, yeah, we have two Vulcans, so
And we have a Bolian who cut hair. He has no hair.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
We have a Benzite. It's like
but
we have a lot of people,
but no
Andorians.
No Andorians. But she doesn't pick the Andorian. She picks the human female version. And from there, they move. She picks her form, and I'm
Kind
sorry.
of like Goes of the Gazarian. Pick your form.
And then he picks her form like Data. Data kind of takes her home.
Goes-
This is a picture. This is a chair. And then she points at a vase of flowers. Picture. No, not a painting.
Painting, not picture. Painting.
Painting. Yeah. So, and then we get that whole kind of childlike thing is her.
By the way, how amazing does Haley do at this as Lal, the guest star of this series?
Yeah,
She's so good.
she's
Oh,
very
yeah.
good.
She is so freaking good. She's so good. Anyway, okay.
She acts like a sort of like a robot, but then she doesn't. I can't really put
Right,
my finger on it.
It's one of the things that has always been amazing, and this is sort of the tradition that Leonard Nimoy set forth. Is they're alien, but they have to have touchstones for humanity. Otherwise, we can't read them. And it's I talked a while back about this with somebody else about Lost in Space and the other contemporaries for the original series. And that was one of the standouts, was that, robots and androids and aliens and every other show, they were truly, beep, bop, boop, bop, beep, bop, boop, bop
Yeah.
sort of creatures.
Beep, bop.
Whereas Spock, yeah, I said that, yeah. Beep, bop, boop, bop. So it's like a beatbox. But Leonard Nimoy had pulled Spock into this humanity thing. And Brent Spiner had done a really good job of picking that tone.
Yeah.
And we get that same...
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and
Oh,
finish.
no,
Sorry,
it's cool.
I'm being
Go ahead.
Rude. That is like the cornerstone of why I love Star Trek and why every one of my favorite characters, and I think several people's favorite characters on each of the series are the others, meaning the aliens or the either Spock or Data in the two series we're talking about now, because Roddenberry used them as the mirror for the rest of humanity. He shows us what it is to be human through the eyes of the other.
And that way,
Right.
In their relation to humans and humanity, that he most beautifully shows what humanity is, both our best and our worst.
and that way,
so-
people can't get angry when they get the mirror put right in front of them.
Exactly.
They'd
And
be
that's
like,
why it's so perfect. And that's why Star Trek is the best thing ever.
Absolutely.
The end.
The end.
Amen. Amen, Michelle.
That's it. We can stop.
And of course, Haley Todd pulled that on through with her performance. She really did, and she had such a small amount of time to express Lal. And I think that was such a wonderful thing. I agree with you, Michelle, about that one. It's just she did
She's just
such a
brilliant.
wonderful job.
I do wonder if like her and like Brett Spiner sat down and like talked about like technique. You know,
I'll have to ask Brent the next time I see him. We actually, Vic had never seen this episode before. And so like 2 weeks ago when we were trying to figure out how we were all going to get together and talk about this, I threw a little hissy fit when I found that out. I'm like, what?
What?
You've never said what? Sit down.
sit down.
Well, he's very much a fan of the original series. He said he didn't really. I saw him live at Fan Expo last year when you were
Yeah.
debuting an episode in Canada, and he was, he was like, yeah, I never really liked any of the other ones. I didn't really watch them. So
I know.
it's kind of
Well,
sad.
it's because I think he probably watched the first 1 or 2 episodes, and I think like many people do, they're like, well, this isn't the Star Trek that I know and love, so I'm done. And just like anything, I think, especially with Star Trek series, they have to get the first year or two to kind of get rolling. They
Yeah.
need
Absolutely.
a little time to find themselves, and it usually is the second half of their run that is really great. I think there were several standouts in Next Generation that were really awesome. So I've pretty much not made him, but highly encouraged Vic to sit down with me when I start talking about an episode, and he said he hasn't seen it, and watch some of the most kind of like the more important fundamental ones. And after this episode, The Offspring made him cry. He cried at the end.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I know. And he immediately texted Brent. He was like, dude, you were really, really good.
That's awesome.
This text in the middle of nowhere, like on a Tuesday afternoon. He's like, thanks, man.
Thanks.
Like, what?
Thanks. That's really awesome.
Thanks, I think.
I kind of wish I'd been a fly on the wall in Brent's, wherever he was at that time. He's like,
He's probably at a party or something and like hanging out and just like, what?
yeah, and like all of a sudden he gets this teary, obviously emotional text from Vic, like, man, you were so good.
That's beautiful.
That's like,
Thank you.
yeah. You should have him watch more of those episodes. There's some really,
Oh, I will.
I mean, there's some real tear-jerking, heart-rendering episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's some
he
wonderful
needs to watch
episodes.
Lower Decks next
But yeah,
if
I
he
mean,
hasn't seen
anybody
that.
who watches Encounter, Farpoint, The Naked Now, and Code of Honor,
Or
I mean, I
gonna
can totally
run away
see.
screaming.
You're watching those things and you're thinking,
Yeah.
okay, So it is a little rough, but I mean, it's the same thing with all of them. Michelle's right. I mean, with the exception of Duet, which is one of the things I really love about DS9. The first season is still pretty rough on even DS9, which is a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying you like Duet or you didn't like Duet?
I love Duet.
Okay.
Duet's the moment in DS9 where you're like, oh, so this is the way we're gonna be.
Yeah.
That's when DS9 got its legs and you realize, nah, it's not going to play the next gen game.
Yeah.
You knew it at Duet.
Okay. I was just clarifying.
You were worried for a minute there.
I was.
You were worried
I was.
that you and I were going to have this schism
Yeah, we're going to take our shirts off and start fighting.
and we have to do
It's really hot over here. Our shirts are already off.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, I got to meet Tony Todd. I went to actually a horror convention. I was a guest at a horror convention up in Massachusetts.
Wow.
A few weeks ago. Hysterical. Kim Stinger and I were like the only non-horror guests, and we were like, we have no idea what to expect.
I don't know what's going on here.
It was a ball. We had so much fun. Everyone there was like just as sweet as you at any other sci-fi convention, and especially at TrekCons. We had an absolutely great time. But one of the guests that was there was Tony Todd, and I've never met him in person, and I totally fangirled out on him because his roles in the Star Trek series are some of my favorite. Like the episode
The
where he
Visitor?
played Jake Sisko. Yes! In DS9, I lost my mind. I totally fangirled out, and I was like, I like became totally hysterical and was like babbling at him, and like jumped in behind his table, and he was like, "Oh, hello."
Oh, hi. Oh, hi.
You're like, she's
So
crazy.
He was
I'm
so sweet and so kind, and he was really awesome. But yeah,
And he's got that great voice too. I mean, it's just that
voice.
it's just I love Tony Todd.
Yeah, me and Aaron did the same thing to J.G. Hertzler a couple weeks ago.
yeah. Yeah.
JG, man. He really is like JG. The way you think he's going to be, that's how he is.
That's exactly. He's over the top.
He was awesome.
He is
Yeah.
over the top. He's pretty
Yep.
fun. Well, getting
I apologize. Keep going.
that's all right. That's what we do. Anyway, so back to Data and Lal. Data decides he's going to try to enroll her into school. That doesn't turn out too well. The preschoolers are all scared to death of Lal, and the high schoolers just think she's weird.
He's not socially acceptable in either crowd.
No,
It's so
Well,
sad.
that's not uncommon. High schoolers think everybody's weird.
that's
Yeah.
right.
It's like me. This was me in school when I wasn't
David.
homeschooling.
You're the only one the high schoolers like.
I would like to see a scene where Lal's walking through the hallways and like Radiohead Creeps playing on, because that would be just really funny. So anyways, so next, so Data decides he's going to hand over to Guinan to work at 10 Forward to get kind of used to the human ropes, you know.
It's like this is how you experience humanity in a bar.
And you forget the little montage of him teaching her like how to eat and drink, and the drink coming out of her mouth. And then when he's like trying to teach her motor coordination,
All right.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Tries to catch the ball.
and like she's looking straight at him, the ball flies right over her head, and like 2 seconds later, her
She
hand comes up. It's just so well done. They just do. It's very, very sweet.
I know, that was pretty
And,
funny.
and once again, we got to give props because, of course, that's such a difficult thing to not instinctively flinch or
Right.
duck or anything. And she just gives him this most deadpan look. And it's just
So
such a
good.
wonderful scene.
The only thing that really was missing through the montage was a little Howard Jones music, like from
Oh,
like I'd like to get to know you well.
Teaching her how to paint the
Oh
walls and stuff like that.
no!
There was no painting. I wish he would have taught her how to paint, because I mean those are always kind of weird scenes with Data when he's painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and makes exact replicas.
It's exactly like it. Exactly.
Like, this is how you do a Mona Lisa. There you go.
Yeah.
And then hers is like a stick figure.
And he's just going, no.
No.
Anyways, from there, unfortunately, Picard gets a message from Starfleet from the Admiral, and the Admiral is saying, we want to turn Lal over to one of our starbase.
Daystrom.
Yeah, Daystrom, to just basically train the Lal and, get away from Data, basically. It sounds that's...
Data's terrible at teaching things.
Data's a terrible parent.
Remember that time we sent him down to that planet when, for first contact stuff? Yeah, it doesn't work.
It's awful.
No.
He can't have first contact with his own daughter. It'll be disastrous.
So,
Now,
We've read the
have you
logs.
Gotten through her first training session with Guinan. Have you passed over that?
Get into it.
yeah, we're just
No, I
getting
think
to
we're
it.
getting there to it right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
what
ahead.
do you want to bring out about that? Just,
Oh no!
just
I got it queued up to my favorite line of the whole episode.
Are you talking about the kissing part?
Yes! It's her delivery is so funny. I laugh out loud every time I see it.
You gonna play it for us?
So good. Yes. Are you ready?
Yeah,
ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I got to set it up. So they're in 10 Forward, and she's observing all these different interactions. And first he sees these guys over in one corner and this girl over in one corner, and they're just kind of looking at each other. And her comments are like, they seem to be communicating telepathically. And Guinan's like, well, let's just say they're thinking the same thing. And then Lal sees this couple in the corner, and they're grasping hands, and she said, is holding hands some form of affection? And she's like, yes, this is how humans like to touch each other, and blah, 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 blah. And then wait, hold on, I have to make sure it's up loud enough so you can hear it. And then she sees the couple kiss, and Lal's reaction is,
He's biting that female.
That's great.
and then they start walking off.
Why are they leaving? Well, there are some things your father's just going to have to explain to you.
I love it. I just love her face. He's biting that female.
He's biting her.
Oh, that's kissing.
That's called kissing.
And the one time Riker shows his face, he struts in.
It's
So-
the best moment.
She pulls him over the bar, kisses him. Data walks in. What are your intentions with my daughter?
So,
Well, there's a reason. Jonathan Frakes directed this episode.
I was going to say,
His directorial
The first
debut.
time he directed an episode.
He
so
gets kissed by the
was
guest star, of course.
behind the camera through the whole thing.
Of course. Hysterical. But I love it because she had just seen that whole flirting scene.
Mhm.
So when Riker walks in, I don't know if you noticed, Lal is totally like behaving like that girl.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Riker walks in and she's using the rag to wipe the table like, well, hello. It's like, you're new here. And she just grabs him, lifts him over the table, and she's about like 5'0", this little actress,
Yeah.
and smacks one on him right as Data's walking in. It's just great. It's just great. It's so funny. I love it. Okay, go ahead.
I think I gotta agree with you, Michelle. This is like the best scene of like the episode.
Oh, yeah. It's just hysterical.
Well, the episode is really packed full of awesome scenes too.
It is.
So
Yeah.
saying that this is the best scene is saying quite a bit. You know, this episode is just packed full of great scenes.
Right. And going forward from there, after she kisses Riker, next we have Data in his quarters. We have this kind of poignant moment where Data basically tells Lal that she'll never know love. Like it's not possible for her to know that, and that's a limitation that it must accept. And that Lal wonders why Data's even trying to emulate humans. And Data says it's not the goal, it's the struggle, it's the journey towards doing something is the most important part. It's then reaching the ultimate goal, which is I thought was actually a pretty strong instruction no matter what. I wish someone gave me that instruction when I was a young child.
Yes,
Nobody.
yes, I thought that was such a beautiful scene. There's so many beautiful scenes when he's speaking to her that, again, are kind of like the mirror up to the best of humanity. That's another reason why I love this episode. There are just some beautiful... Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. Next, we get the big bad Admiral Haftel comes, and the captain realizes that.
When do we ever get big, good admirals?
I know. When does the Admiral come like, thank God the Admiral's here to just clear this up?
It's like, oh no, the admiral's here. What shit's gonna go down?
Oh, my God. So anyway, so the Admiral shows up, and he decides that... Picard decides that he's not here to form an opinion. He's there to justify the means of taking Lal back to the Daystrom to study her and to whatever, get her ready for
Starfleet
or
Because
whatever.
you have to be in Starfleet.
So they come to the decision that Data and Lal are because he wants to take her, that they should talk to Lal, they should talk to Data, and kind of like. Try
to get the consent, but who needs consent when you've got orders?
Exactly.
Exactly.
When he takes the Admiral to 10 forward, the Admiral is very much does not like that she's working as a...
You made this a woman a cocktail waitress? What? and Guinan's
He's like, yeah, go ahead.
And Guinan's like, yeah, like you've never been in a bar.
She's like, she's a really good cocktail waitress. What are you talking
She
about?
spills some stuff on him, but she just wants to see through the clothes. It's fine.
So he wants Lal out of 10 forward, and then Lal goes from there. They start doing their, I don't know what they want to do. Interviews, conferences between each other. Basically, they tried to. The Admiral tries to talk to Lal and tell her that we want to relocate you without your father, and she's kind of resists against that. It's something that she does not want to do. So,
yeah, I mean she's like a week old at this point, maybe.
Right.
Or a couple weeks old. I think they said like 2 weeks at some point in the episode.
Right, and from there. Lal goes very upset to Counselor Troy. She's real distraught, and she starts stuttering about the whole...
And Captain Picard brings up a really good point during that whole exchange, during both the exchanges with Data and with Lal.
What are your wishes?
Yeah, what are your wishes? They were sitting here talking to a sentient being, and we haven't even asked what she wants to do. And she says, I want to stay here.
Right. This was established earlier with A Measure of a Man.
Yes, and he even says that.
He references it, in the ready room.
I established that law.
Things that we have established, by law that have their own rights and and laws in which I helped create. And I literally last night stopped it and turned to Vic and went, it's because of during season 1 episode Measure of a Man, and press play again. He was like,
right.
Oh my God.
She's like, what a nerd. And then you were like, yeah, you started a whole Star Trek Continues episodes. Okay,
Yeah,
don't talk to me.
Nerd. However,
Yes. Yes.
Don't talk to me about it. So, anyways, from there, they have the meeting with Data, and basically the Admiral refused to give in, and the order's allowed to be transferred aboard his ship. And Picard tells him to belay that order, Lieutenant.
Don't risk your career, Picard.
Yeah. And he said...
Hold your ground, Data.
Yeah. So Picard says that ordering a man to hand over his child over the state, not while I'm his captain. And then when he's about to suggest the Admiral go to Starfleet about this, Troy calls Data to his lab, and Troy explains that Lal is obviously acting very frightened, and she's actually experiencing fear or some type of panic attack, it seems like.
No, it's like real fear. And that's why when she came in, that was such a good scene when she comes kind of in after the Admiral says, no, I'm sorry, you're going to be leaving. You're going to have to come with me. She leaves and literally goes straight to Counselor Troy and says, I am afraid. And Counselor Troy, who is obviously, telepathic, halfway telepathic, I guess you could say, says, oh my God, you are. Like, what the frickety frack? She can sense the fact that she's feeling afraid. And Lal does this physical thing, like she's like
punching her own gut.
Yes. Oh my God. She's like punching right in her chest. She's like, this is what it feels like. And you're like, oh my God, she's feeling. And then she walks out and you can see her kind of break it down. And it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, no.
I just think it's funny that Troy just kind of stands there and like just watches her go.
I know.
Doesn't help. Doesn't call anybody yet. She just kind of like sticks her head out.
Well, she fouled her, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. But it was just kind of a weird moment.
It is.
I can see that being very awkward, though. I mean,
but how do you
the android's punching herself in the gut, and you know that this android could punch you across a room. I think I would stay away too.
Yeah. I have food poisoning.
What if her arms malfunction, just spaz out? Yeah, I guess it's true.
Smack! Oh!
Yeah, what if she goes crazy?
Smack some sense in the Troy. No.
That's the other thing, is you never know when androids are going to go crazy. So, I mean, being out in adventures in space, you got to know androids go nuts every once in a while. So,
well, if you watch any movies from the 20th century, you'd know that androids go nuts.
Yeah. So, anyways, so when they get there, they realize that she's having emotional awareness, and Data appears that there's a cascade failure, which they go into Data and the Admiral kind of go to work on Lal trying to save her.
I did like that the Admiral said, can I assist with this procedure? So it's like, maybe you don't hate him as much as you did, but you still kind of hate him.
And I kind of even wondered, I've wondered more than once, like, why is he such just an outright jerk, like from the get-go?
Yeah.
Why is he's just, and I think what it is I suppose it was probably both a written choice and an actor choice to be like this already totally set in his mind what the conclusion was. Like he already had his decision made, and both Data and Lal were in this very, feasible box as far as being defined as what and who they are. So that's what kind of makes the very last scene with the Admiral that you're about to get to so incredibly touching, I think, because he really does a total 180.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not like a complete monster. He's just a guy bent on a agenda.
Maybe he's following orders, too, for all we know.
Yeah, he's just trying...
Yeah, but he kind of relishes being a jerk a little bit. Like, this is a guy who's got some stereo... Like, there's some prejudice going on there.
He does the Palpatine, I am the Senate, I am Starfleet!
Yeah, he does a little bit.
I am Starfleet. So,
but I've got to... I mean, this is another one where Nicholas Coster, who played Haftel, you've got to give him props on that one, too, because he, we're talking about, he had to go through that range of emotions there. He had to go from, as an actor, from an actor's perspective, this is a juicy part. Right. Because he's got, I'm laying down the law, and then he's got literally entire character development, a whole character, or the whole spectrum on that character, but he develops and changes in the episode.
What at least as an actor, I would be reading that script. That whole last scene, that's the payoff. That scene is that's a payoff of a scene right there, and he does it beautifully. And he obviously himself gets choked up. And if people haven't seen it, let's kind of fill them in on what we're talking about.
Yeah, so
which is
hours later,
everybody's out waiting to see what the hell is going to happen. And Lal, the very sweet one that everyone's become incredibly endeared with, they love her.
So the Admiral comes out and he's just completely he's like that doctor who's been like working on a heart transplant for like 6 hours.
6 hours,
Yeah. It's like, we tried. We can't save her. Just everything, systems keep failing, and Data's hands were moving faster than I could visibly see. So you just
it's so great the way he says it. It's great.
It's the gut punch of the episode. It's like you don't expect it coming from him because he's like the asshole the entire time. But I think I think this delivery is probably like the most, other than the exchange between Lal and Data before she dies. It's probably one of the most gut punchy things. And as an actor, that's gotta be awesome to come in and be like, I made the audience cry.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.
I have it queued.
Okay, let's do it.
Do you want to play it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Here we go. He's just walked out. Here we go.
She won't survive much longer. There's nothing anyone could have done. Repolarize one pathway and another would collapse. And then another. His hands were moving faster than I could see, trying to stay ahead of each breakdown. He refused to give up. It was remarkable. It just wasn't meant to be.
And the music swells, and your tears swell.
He's tearing. It's perfect.
I want to plant a flag here, and when we get back to this, I want to talk about one thing about this. But I do agree this is the one of the harder parts of it when he walks out.
Did you try turning it off and turning it back on again?
You did not say that, you mother. Oh my God! If I was in musical presence right now, I'd be punching you.
You're slapping him. That's awesome.
I'm sorry. I deserve it, but I just thought it was funny.
Oh my God! So next we have in the lab, Lal and Data are having their last moments together, and Data says they can't correct the system's failure, and they have to say goodbye. And that she feels, and then she tells him that she loves him, even though she cannot feel it with her. So,
and she's like, "I'll feel it for the both of us." And it's like, "Oh, I start crying again."
And then,
I know.
And then she
says, "What does she say?"
She starts like rambling things that
but first thing she says is, "Thank you for my light."
Oh, yeah. Right, yeah, exactly.
It's so beautiful. I can't even handle it.
Yeah, it is. But and then just the words that she was starting to say. She was saying like flirting, laughter, painting, family,
woman,
female, human.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, so it's kind of sad. And to me, the last part was the worst part for me. Was when he walks on the bridge and everyone gets up and staring at her and says, at 1,300 hours, he deactivated Lal. And basically, everyone's giving sympathy to him that what's happened, that he lost his daughter, and he says that he brought her memories into his memories, and she'll always be right in his head. Kind of like the idea of like when someone dies, passes away, you always have them with you, and then
as much as her as he can with her, like physically, it's amazing.
Yeah. And then, Data takes his station on the bridge, and he's back to work like nothing happened because he can't feel shit. So
it's just like, but the camera lingers on him, and it's got this like discordant, sad moment, and then and his episode.
It would have been cool though. He said that he has integrated her into him. Mm-hmm. It would have been cool if from here on out he would use contractions.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
the way that she did.
Or when he
Because that was one of the telltales that we knew that
Yes.
Law was changing.
Yeah,
was
she was
she
developing.
started to use contraction.
And Guinan pointed that out in case the audience didn't
Yeah.
catch
Yeah.
on, which was really good.
Yeah.
Well, Michelle, you picked this episode. What are your takeaways, thoughts, and feelings about this episode after rewatching us and us just kind of breaking it down and discussing it?
I love this episode so much. It's one of the most beautiful and telling episodes. Why I love, number one, why I love Star Trek. Number two, why I love Star Trek Next Generation. And number three, why I love Data so much. It shows the depth and beauty of how we can use, just like we were talking about at the beginning of the episode, the character that is the other. It's why Spock is my absolute favorite in the original series, and it's why Data is my absolute favorite in Next Gen, because it is the most beautiful and honest and capable way that writers can put a mirror in front of ourselves and show us something both beautiful and awful and true. It just comes shining through. There's nothing that can hit us more than seeing ourselves in that way. And I just thought this episode was such a beautiful story. It was so beautifully put together. It was so beautifully acted. It makes me cry. I find something, I enjoy it no matter how many times I watch it.
That's when you know it's a good episode.
Yes.
You can watch it over and over and it still has the same
over
impact
again.
on you.
And
Yeah.
it's not necessarily Star Trek in the way that it has continuing the series storylines in a way. You know what I mean? There's some episodes like the Best of Both Worlds that like brings in the whole thing about the Borg, and that's amazing, and it kind of furthers the development of the show and of the kind of storylines within the greater larger arcs.
Right.
It's what we would call a bottle show. It's like all takes place on the ship. There's nothing outside of the ship.
Right.
There's no crazy locations.
Right.
There's no crazy special effects or harrowing battles. It really is what I think is so beautiful is that it's such a personal story. It's such a personal story. It is something, and I think it's something that can be applicable to people who love Star Trek and know Star Trek, and it's something that would be absolutely beautiful and touching to someone who had never seen any episode of Star Trek anywhere.
Absolutely.
They could watch this episode and be moved to tears, not even knowing anything else about the show. They wouldn't have to have any knowledge of the depth of the characters and their relationships. They could come in completely cold and watch that episode and be like, oh my God, that was beautiful. And you can say, see why we love Star Trek?
This is why I love Star Trek. Yeah.
Right. It's not just about, obviously there are always greater stories, and there's amazing technology that we can look back in these older shows and see how those have come to fruition, and how we can hope even more of them will come to fruition for us in the future, that all of that wonderful stuff. But for me, it is always about the stories. It is always, always, always about the stories. And this is such a beautiful example of that. It is such a beautiful example of it. I just think it's just so wonderful on so many different levels, but that especially, like I could bring this episode to anybody and they would love, and they could immediately identify and enjoy it.
I agree, and I think that's one of the good things about Star Trek. They can do an outer space wild adventure, but then they can do an interpersonal relationship that happens, and it's
introduce you to new characters you've never seen before, and then in 45 minutes make you love them, rip them away from you, and then make you cry. Like it's like,
and then kill them so that you want to just murder the writers.
flip the table.
Yeah.
Or get Michelle to punch me. I don't know.
Yeah.
kill.
That might happen.
Dave, how about you? I've seen this episode.
It's a favorite. It's been a long time coming to finally get to talk about this episode. It's fantastic. I'm so glad it was one of your favorites, Michelle, because it was absolutely awesome having you on the first time, and getting to hear about your favorite episode and not just talk work is a lot of fun. I think to be able to get your take on what you love about Star Trek, and so I've been looking forward to this for a really long time.
Well,
it's
I
been a lot
just
of
get
fun.
why I like it. So if you guys like it, and you don't have to like it.
Oh no, it's
Why do you guys like it?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I love it for a lot of the same reasons. I mean, Data heavy episodes is amazing. The fact that this was Jonathan Frakes' first directorial debut, And he handled it so well. And then, like, you know, he comes in, he got his, like, his funny scene where he gets kissed by Law, picked up over the bar. It's just so beautiful. And like you said, I mean, I like it for a lot of the same reasons that you like it, Michelle, because this is quintessentially Star Trek. You can show it to anybody, and as long as they're human, they should have, like, a reasonable emotional reaction to this episode.
Right.
Even if they don't like Star Trek, you know.
Right, yeah. You don't have to know anything about Andorians. You don't have to know anything about the Prime Directive. You don't have to know anything. You can watch this particular episode. You could bring and show to anybody.
I love episodes that kind of transcend, you know, everything.
Yes.
You know, like Lower Decks is another episode kind of like this, where you introduced a whole bunch of new characters, and then you fall in love with them, and then they're ripped away from you by the end of the episode, and you're just, like, devastated. And it's amazing.
Like City on the Edge of Forever, which also is another you can just drop somebody in on.
Yep.
I just love it when you can do that. And, you know, you see some movies that are like 2.5 hours long, and then I don't care about any of them.
You don't care about anybody. Yeah.
Yes.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Oh, did you just say Rogue One?
I did.
Oh, come on.
I cared about K2SO.
Yeah, we cared about the robot.
Yes, but it got, you know what? It got my nieces into watching sci-fi. That movie did.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because it gave them a young heroine. It was the first time that was the very first time that they saw, like, a young woman that they really got into and they really enjoyed. So
That's really cool.
now I just can't wait to take them to see Wonder Woman. Now
Oh, yeah. Well, Wonder Woman's
There you go.
so good.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman's awesome.
Oh, you guys, did I tell you I met Gal Gadot's stunt double
Did
for
you?
Wonder Woman, or one of the main stunt doubles for Wonder Woman.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, her name is Caitlin Deschelle, and she is like a world champion martial artist and stunt woman, and she's amazing. And I met her, and I totally freaked out because I'm like, so this means that you're the real Wonder Woman.
Yes.
I lost my mind. Yeah. So anyway,
I lost my mind.
That's awesome.
I lost.
Well, I mean, I think Gal Gadot is kind of a Wonder Woman, too, because I read an article where she did reshoots 5 months pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah, with the green screen.
They green screened her belly. I was trying to watch her belly the whole movie to see, like, where they green screened her, because it just
No, you weren't.
No, I wasn't. No, but kind of like I don't have that calendar where I was. Oh,
Yeah.
Now you have to create a calendar.
Yeah.
The Michele Specht. Your face is on all the dates.
Oh my god. A face for every day of the year. Michele Specht.
I'm gonna have to go through Star Trek Continues with a fine-tooth comb and just, like, screenshots. This will be like a long endeavor.
This is taking, like, Silence of the Lambs kind of turn.
Hello, Clarice. I mean, hello, Michelle. I ate his brains with fava beans.
Oh no.
It's good that I'm laughing at this, right?
Yes, yes. And that you're on the other side of the country.
You're going, I think I might be closer to them by being in Denver.
Guy, watching this.
All in good humor, Michelle.
Yeah, all in good humor.
Yes,
We'll
all in good humor.
That conversation never happened. Guy,
Yes.
Yeah, Guy.
watching this, what did you think? Your feelings?
Well, I mean, you know, I can't believe that Data was painting a Mondrian, but that's okay.
Did he paint that?
You know, anyway, no, I'm just kidding. He was painting a Mondrian.
Okay.
This is because I actually had to take art history. So, but other than that, no. This is a great. You're right. It's a great bottle episode. It actually is a bottle episode. That's what they call them. So, and that's kind of cool. But I think that I had a great point, and I have forgotten it.
Oh no.
All right, so Aaron, what did you think of this episode?
Stupid Mondrian, and now I can't remember what my point was. In general, this is one of the best Star Treks. The thing about this one is that it's a double whammy because it comes right after Yesterday's Enterprise. It's the next episode after Yesterday's Enterprise. So I always think, I remember when I watched these two episodes, it was 1 week right after another, and I was like sitting there going, I hadn't processed Yesterday's Enterprise yet when I was being hit by the Offspring. And so when I watched these two episodes, I was like, I cannot process this. And so it was I remember it being so very, very rough just to watch these two as a 15-year-old guy. And I'm like, I'm not crying, you're crying. I'm not crying, you're crying. The entire thing. Because, you're 15 and you have to be macho and you can't cry.
What's a salty discharge?
Yeah, I'm not crying, you're crying. Anyway,
which one?
we had, of course, both of these. So, I don't know. I mean, it's an incredibly awesome episode all the way around. There's so little wrong with it. I mean, you can nitpick it, but it's really just not fair to nitpick it. And all the nitpicks are really small, like, Data mentioning that he's the last of his kind when there's obviously lore and Juliana and Trainer. Juliana Trainer and stuff like that. So, and B4, technically, of course,
he didn't know.
He didn't know about a lot of these things, though.
Yeah.
They would
and I think he thought Lore was dead at this point.
Yeah, he did.
So, I mean, like, from his point of view, he was the last person.
Right, and one could argue that he had thought that Lore was gone because of Data Lore.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And you could argue he didn't know about Juliana Trainer and the B4 android. So, yeah.
Technically, B4 should have never existed.
Really,
but,
when that's the nitpick on it,
Right.
you know what I mean?
That's
Right.
not much.
That's totally, that's such a small nitpick.
And we're on third season, too, so that's like so early
Right.
on. So early
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
there's so much more to come. And what about you, Aaron?
A couple things. One, this is a great episode. No, there's no doubt about it. Data's awesome because he's such a blank slate, sort of like when you see Spock in the original series, that you can project so much of all your kind of yourself onto him because you're seeing yourself in some manner or form because he's kind of so blank about how he does his performances, which is on purpose, of course. So that's great. But that's the same thing as like at the end of like I think I can't remember, it's the 4th or 5th season, Brothers.
Yeah,
where him and Laura, and like at the very end, like the two brothers were fighting before, and it's like now they're playing again.
And they've reconciled.
He goes, how come they're not fighting anymore? He says, of course they're not fighting. They're brothers. They always forgive themselves, and you're just like, yeah, brothers do forgive themselves, don't they? So. It was just one of those things, like, Data's always great for that, It's like something about just his inquisitiveness and just learning life lessons and stuff like that. So that's what's great about it. And to me, that last scene where he walks on the bridge and he says, the memories will be up here, but pointing to his head was awesome. The one...
Yes.
I don't even want to call it a caveat, but it was just the idea of... so Admiral Hatfield just orders Lal onto his ship, and that they're going to take her away. Now, would it be that Lal would have a complete systems failure with this or without this happening? Like, is this just like, did that just accentuate what was going to happen no matter what? Or was that because he pushed her too early on that she broke down?
I think it's because he pushed her and she broke. That's what I think.
Right, but like if she
Are we all implying that Halftel's a murderer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Manslaughter at the least.
Premeditated.
That's what I'm implying.
But yeah, I mean that's my feeling is like if he didn't push her to that, would she still be okay? Like, let's say she could kick around the Enterprise for 3-4 years without anything happening to her, and she had the ability to develop her emotions, her feelings in a slow process. Maybe she could process it, and she wouldn't have a complete systems failure. Or would it be when she got her serial?
Or they get attacked by the Borg and she freaks out.
Well, I was thinking when Data got the wrong type of cereal for her and she freaked out, like most children do.
Yeah.
I don't like this cereal, Dad!
I wanted Fruit Loops, not Fruity Loops.
Cereal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yesterday. No, I didn't. What?
You told me you liked it last week. I bought it again. You keep selling me. Anyway, so that's what I'm wondering. Like, would she just flip out on something else,
I want to say that the Admiral broke her because she showed no signs of anything going wrong. It seems like...
No, it's right afterwards. She got confused. She got scared. Yeah.
Yeah,
she was confronted very early on. She had just achieved sentience. She just became sentient.
Yes.
Just say that. And she was then confronted with, oh, now we're taking you away from your dad. Yeah, you're leaving. You're coming with me. No choice.
Right.
He broke her.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yep. So
Because
we
didn't
are
see-
saying that Haftel murdered her.
We never saw
Yes.
anything that she was, had any, issues before. So it's just
She's using contractions.
using contractions. I mean, Data.
That's a sure sign that you're going to flip out any minute.
I mean, I was watching this episode specifically.
Yeah, anytime you use contractions, you're about to die.
Yes.
Yep.
It's true.
Well, when I was watching this episode today, just to acquaint myself with it, and because I know she breaks down and dies, I was watching it to see is there any nuggets of her malfunctioning early on? I couldn't find anything, and I was looking for anything to hint that she was going to break down, and it's just so sudden, and it's immediately after that confrontation with the Admiral. So it just seems like if she was going to break, I feel like she would have broken on her own. Before this point, because the way that things degraded. Although, as the Admiral got there, he had also just finally loaded the last bit of his positronic brain into hers. So, I don't know if him forcing that much onto her so quickly is what broke her, or if the Admiral broke her. I mean, it might be a little bit of column A, column B. Who knows? It's not really clearly stated in the episode. You just kind of have to take it.
You got to draw your own conclusion.
Yeah.
My conclusion is Haftel killed her.
Haftel did
I was going to say.
He's going to space
Here
jail.
we've got, obviously, clearly, the prosecution is Michelle and I, and David's definitely on the defense over there.
I'll be
Aaron's
judge.
gonna be the judge.
I'll be the judge. Well, yeah. So, I mean, in the end, that's where I was kind of walking away. Is that was a foregone conclusion that this was going to happen, or was this just going to, it was pressed on her and it happened? So that's my biggest thought after watching it. Besides the emotional side of it,
It's why did she break? I mean, she was perfectly fine up until this point.
Right.
It does seem kind of. And then if I have any gripe with the episode, is that she just breaks down, and we're not sure why. I mean, specifically. I mean, we can all draw our own conclusions, but there's nothing implicitly said that this is why she broke.
Yeah, right. But otherwise, still a great episode. Anything with Data, usually with an introspective of Data, is always a wonderful, there's a lot going on that you can, read into. So that's what's wonderful about Data, that he's such a blank slate that you can superimpose things on top of him and go oh, that's me, or that's how I would feel, or, or whatever. So, yeah, great episode. Wonderful.
Great episode. Does anyone else have anything to say? I know we're kind of coming up against the clock.
Oh, yes, I've been, I'm getting multiple texts from Vic. I think I need to call him just to...
All right.
I should get back to him. He's, I told him I was going to be doing this, but maybe he forgot. Because he's like, wait, honey, sweetheart, are you there?
What are you
He's,
doing?
Texting me. So, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing my interview! Talking Trek! By the way, David, here's the first picture for your calendar.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, no.
Sweet. I'm starting to wonder if I should worry about all of us.
Well, you should worry.
I mean,
I sent it via message on Skype. It's ridiculous.
I mean, why not worry?
Sure.
I love that shirt.
Yeah.
I love that shirt.
Hysterical.
Trick yourself before you wreck yourself. I can't wait.
Yeah!
So, where can we find you, Michelle, on social media if people were so inclined?
Well, if they want to, they can watch more behind-the-scenes pictures and videos on my Facebook page. It's just Michele Specht, Michelle with one L, Specht, like Specht. And I'm just at Michele Specht on everything. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Michele Specht.
Awesome.
Come find me. Or on my website, michellespecht.com.
Awesome.
Right.
All pretty easy. Nothing
Nice.
weird.
And and you mentioned before that you're going to be hitting up a bunch of cons. Any cons you want to list off that you're going to be hitting up?
Oh, yes. So, Florida at Supercon in the end of July. Hard Rock Sci-Fi Fantasy Con in Tahoe. That is in September, I believe. And I'm really hoping I'm going to try and figure out a way to at least make it to New York Comic-Con for sure. For the final episode premiere as well. And we'll see. Other ones I'm in, there are two more, but I can't confirm them yet.
Awesome.
So, but those are updated on my website and my Facebook page.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It was a whole lot of fun having you.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun
It
being here.
was.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
If there's any other episodes you want to come back and talk on, we'd be more than happy to have you on again.
Oh, you weirdos. because you don't even know what can of worms you just opened.
Oh, man.
Oh, the best kind, I hope.
We love worms.
Peanut brittle in them.
Oh, man.
Oh, there's sweet cans of worms, huh? Well,
The scary ones with the worms with the snakes that pop out.
Yeah.
Woo! Exactly. And woo with peanut.
Oh, I hate those.
I know. They're scary. Thank you so much, you guys, and thanks to everybody who sat through us being a bunch of nerds for over an hour.
That's what we love.
this is
Awesomest part.
This is what we do every week. So I mean,
This is our life, Michelle.
and maybe when some more of those episodes come out, and we can talk about those a little bit once they're out, and then if you have another favorite on your list you want to tick off, we can talk about that and do that again later.
And let us know what else you're up to.
Sounds good. You got it.
Thank you.
Got it, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Michelle. It was a lot of fun.
You bet.
Goodbye,
You guys
Michelle.
are great.
Thanks.
Bye.
Good night. Tadek.
Bye.
And all our music is provided by Warp 11. You can find them at warp11.com. Actually, our intro is provided by Dave Wilkes.
Yes.
You can find the show online at Synthaholic Duo. You can find myself online on Twitter at David_J_Duncan. We have a Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/Synthaholics. We love all the people talking on there, so come on and join the fun. Where can we find you guys?
Well, you can find me at USS Tamerlan and on Facebook, and you can find me just about everywhere at GS Davis Art. But yeah, Tamerlan's in sort of a character developing mode, so you might want to go back a little bit because we're kind of in this fight.
The jail
sort of.
cell?
The jail cell.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun.
So
Strom and Cochran fighting it out.
yeah, they're fighting it out. Well, as only a husband and wife can do. So there you go.
course. Yes.
And that will be weird for people who have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, you can find that on Facebook. You can also find that at USSTamerlan.com.
Awesome.
And so there you go. And Aaron.
You can find me on Twitter at Blackbird2004.
Check out the show on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, wherever, and Podcast Addict, wherever you find your podcasts.
YouTube even.
YouTube, yes, you can find us on YouTube. All of our recent episodes are up on YouTube.
Yes.
You can watch them there. You can watch Cooking with EU. I still need to make more YouTube videos of me doing strange things. It'll happen one day.
Hope the next one has firecrackers in them.
Cooking with firecrackers.
Cooking with firecrackers. Oh, my God. Also, if you have a chance, definitely go onto iTunes. If you could rate and review us, there's a good reason for that. The reason being is that the more people put reviews in, put comments in, how much you love the show, the more people will see the show. And it's very important when that actually comes across because it puts us up in their rankings more. And that goes across all types of podcasts. If you get it through Stitcher or anything else, Google Play, it somehow works off all that algorithm. I don't understand how it works, but it's mysterious.
It's magic.
It is magic.
It's very important magic.
But it's very secretive, and they don't tell us. But that's the reality.
That's
of
the
it.
reality. And a lot of people say this, and a lot of people hear this on all your podcasts, and it's because it's true. It helps us out more than you could ever know by going on, rating and reviewing, giving us stars, writing a sentence or two about us, and it's a huge help. And if you want to do even more, if you want to step up your game a little bit, we do have a Patreon where you can go on there and show us
Support
some
the
love.
podcast.
Support the podcast.
Support the
With
podcast.
different tiers.
Throw a buck. Throw a buck. What's a buck a month? You spend more of that on coffee and hamburgers. Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, just a buck.
What's a buck? And then, Guy, you have Patreon as well to support your comic book work.
I do. It's patreon.com/GS Davis Art.
When you check out Guy's work, and you will want to support him, and you will want to give him your money to help him out. So definitely check that out. I am doing the Jedi mind trick, and definitely do that.
Thank you.
And on top of that, we do love when people send us emails. Send us an email and let us know what you think about our episode, any subjects we talked about. Definitely send us an email at synthaholics@yahoo.com. It was just wonderful. We love to read your emails online. If you have a smartphone, if you want to just do a quick audio recording, you can attach it to an email. We play it online as well, so we'll get to hear your voice and we'll respond to it as well. We definitely enjoy that. We enjoy hearing back from you. If you agree with us, disagree with us, if you have a bone of contention to something that's about an episode that we didn't touch upon, definitely let's talk about it. In addition to that, please, if you know somebody who loves to listen to podcasts or are looking for something new, let them know, hey, Synthaholics, these guys like to get drunk and talk about Star Trek. These are the guys you want to hear about some goofy shit.
We make inappropriate jokes about really sensitive matters on the show.
So if you're looking for that, if you know somebody...
To make our guests want to punch us.
Yes, exactly.
It's okay, Michelle. I deserved it.
It's a talent we have. But
we're very talented.
Very talented. Very talented and wanted people to punch us. Yeah, so definitely let people know about that if you get a chance, if they're looking for something to listen to. And, Guy, you also do your own podcasts?
Rocky Mountain Geek Tank.
I do. Rocky Mountain Geek Tank.
Rocky Mountain High. I'm sorry.
Which is what everybody says now that we have legalized marijuana here.
Yes.
You should start smoking on the air. Like it's like we drink on the air.
Oh, man. That's got to happen. If I come out there, Guy, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
When we do our crossover.
I'm going to come out there,
we do
just
our crossover.
get stoned out of our gourd, and just like then you record us.
Stoned and drunk.
Yes.
Yes, we gotta combine both shows.
That's a great combo.
Oh, my God.
As long as you guys have, like, someplace I can take you and leave you so you're not, like, throwing up in my house, we're good.
Hey, we don't throw up.
You're just going to leave him out in the park? It's his way.
Yeah, it's his way.
Take me back to the gazebo.
Yeah, so check out Guy's podcast. And Dave, you were just recently on...
Yeah, I was just on the Nerdynomicon. Robbie Palmer had me on. We talked about E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo. We talked about video games. I mean, it's old news now because, I mean...
It's already happened?
It's already happened. We recorded the show right after the Sony conference on Monday evening. So we didn't have all the information yet because there was still more E3 happening. But we covered what we could and speculated about what was yet to come.
Right. But still...
It was a fun talk.
Yeah, definitely worth listening. So check out Nerdynomicon.
The Nerdynomicon.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed our fun talk with Michele Specht. It's been a long time coming. We've been teasing it for weeks.
Those calendars been teased for a long time.
Yeah, that calendar. Yeah, I'll have to put that up the Synthaholics store, which is non-existent.
Down Michele Specht pictures.
Yes. Yeah. It's been fun. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I know we've been trying to get this to happen, and I'm so glad it finally did.
And definitely, when you get a chance, check out Star Trek Continues. If you have not done this already, it's a crime that if you haven't
What's wrong
watched
with you?
Yeah, you need to watch it because it is really... If you like the original series, you will love it.
Especially if you're a TOS fan. Like, it's a perfect transition.
It's worth your time. Believe me, it's worth your time.
It absolutely is.
Nothing is quite like original Star Trek than Star Trek Continues.
Yeah, great.
So check them out. They're awesome. Michelle's awesome. Thank you again for joining us, Michele. We love having you. Live long and prosper, one and all.
Come mix me a drink before the night's over. I'll puke in the sink and we'll cry till we laugh, and we'll both shit our pants. You're the best drinking friend I ever had.
Yay!
Yay! Woohoo! We can turn on the air conditioning now. We're dying.
We're dying. How's it going out there, Guy?
I have air conditioning in my bedroom. So you guys accidentally, because everybody's doing work in all the different levels of the house. Man. So I banished myself to the bedroom. And at first I was like, oh no, I banished myself to the bedroom. Then I realized this is the only room that has the air conditioning unit. Sweet.
All right.
Oh, wait. Okay, they're doing the hands. Sorry. It wasn't exactly where I thought it was.
Turn it up a little bit, too.
Okay, hold on.
Seem to be communicating telepathically.
Oh, more telepathically. Hold on. Mute it.
Both thinking the same thing, if that's...
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Gaiman, is the joining...
Oh, my God. Okay, joining of hands.
Father was just going to have to explain.
Okay, here we go.
Humans like to touch each other. They start with the hands and
You bet they
Go
do.
from there.